Message from regulators here and overseas is clear. The AstraZeneca vaccine's life-saving benefits far outweigh any potential risks from taking it. But with mounting evidence that an unusual blood clotting disorder may be a real, albeit incredibly rare side effect, the AstraZeneca vaccine has taken a PR hit.
The TAGI and the TGA are currently investigating this particular case and working with international experts and regulators to provide advice on the optimal use of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
It's normal for there to be hesitancy with any new vaccine program, and you'll always find that there is going to be a specific issue which comes up about a vaccine, whether it be its safety or whether it be its effectiveness.
Based on the extremely small number of cases so far, estimates on the incidence of blood clotting sit somewhere between 1 in 25,000 and 1 in 87,000. Anywhere in that range is still much safer than getting in a car. Even so, this week it's reported some Aussie frontline healthcare workers are reluctant to take AstraZeneca, instead holding out for Pfizer doses.
People will weigh those risks and benefits differently depending on a whole lot of things like their experience, their foundational beliefs and their concerns about something new like the COVID-19 vaccine.
Across our health system, experts and doctors are working hard to remind people that all vaccines have some very, very rare side effects, and blood clotting disorders are common.
Thromboembolism or clots are common and they are serious. I see them many times a week in my own clinical practice. What's being discussed as a potential complication of the AstraZeneca vaccine is extremely rare. Most doctors would go through their entire career without seeing a single case.
But with so many of our eggs in the AstraZeneca basket, should more be done to get the public on board?
Well, to share her expertise with us once again, we're talking to WHO advisor Mary Louise McLaws. Mary Louise, what would you tell anyone who's feeling hesitant at the moment about the AstraZeneca?
Lisa, I can understand their hesitancy. I mean, this is a big decision. It's a new vaccine out. They've had lots of other vaccines, but vaccines have never been under the microscope quite like this one. If it makes them feel any better, we have a fabulous TGA group and they have a technical advisory group, and they will look at all of the evidence, particularly about this 44-year-old's medical history and whether or not what he has had, in shorthand it's TTP, is linked to the vaccine. In the meantime, the vaccine has within ranges that are nowhere near background ranges for this particular adverse event or event that happens in the population anyway without being vaccinated.
There is a perception, though, that other vaccines like the Pfizer and the Moderna, which are driving US vaccinations, are superior. Is that true?
Pfizer does have some adverse reactions. In America alone, they've recorded 11 per million anaphylactic events. The problem is with clots that they can take 3 weeks to occur. And so what we need to do is educate the public about the rarity of it and explain to them what to expect. And if they get a red, sore leg, a raised temperature that goes on for quite some time, or a disability to be able to speak, they need to go to the hospital immediately in that first 3 weeks, because the hospital will be pleased to see them so they can actually allay their fears or treat them early.
We are very heavily invested in AstraZeneca. We're also making it locally, as we know. We're kind of banking on a vaccine that's based on something in the vicinity of 50-year-old technology. Why haven't we invested more in that same technology that Pfizer is using?
Good question, and in fact we have some of the best vaccinologists in the world, and we should be focusing on new technology and becoming one of the world's best in production for this new technology. It's a great technology. So we need to have a good facility for developing and producing high technology mRNA vaccines, absolutely.
You're meant to get your second shot of AstraZeneca after 12 weeks. We know that people have had delays getting their first shots. What happens if there's a delay getting your second shot and it doesn't meet that 12-week deadline?
The paper that was published on AstraZeneca showed that a prolonged delay after 3 months does see a decline in your response, your immune response. And it's outside of the protocol. We don't know what will happen, and we don't want to waste that first shot and find the second shot past 3 months acts more like the first shot instead of that booster second shot. Absolutely have to make sure that they've got enough production, enough needles and syringes, and enough injectors so that we can get that second shot within that, that at 3 months and no longer.
All right, they're on notice. Mary Louise McLaws, thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure. Stay well.
From expert opinions to in-depth analysis and reporting, the Project YouTube brings you the biggest stories from Australia and around the globe. Hit the subscribe button now for news delivered straight to your feed.